I'm here with RaZe, Bradley, Jdizzle, Extra, Sebastian Professional, 101. Mate,
Yup.
how are we?
I'm not too bad.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
Yeah, bit of a nice weather,
Sorry?
you know. Gonna hit the tennis ball around a bit, you reckon?
Getting into spring, so yes, the weather is looking up and about. So we'll see how it pans out.
I have to say, not a fan of the beard. It's eating really hard.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know how Danklin does it. Does he have like a beard comb when he eats his food?
You've never been called Nicholas in your life.
I prefer Nick. Yeah.
Yeah, ripe young age of 18, right? Wait, you're
19?
only.
What?
Wait, you're 19?
Yeah.
Wait, we're the same age.
Yeah, I know, that's a bit messed
Wait,
up.
that's messed up actually. Damn.
I get called Nicholas when I'm in fucking strife with my parents or something, but that's about it.
People like I know Mod
Yes.
has like a bit of a beard, like it's crazy.
Who's got the biggest beard in beard PR?
Beard PR. Yeah, I guess I'll hit you right with the questions straight off the bat. So in relation to the top 5, what in your playstyle do you believe that separates you from the others?
So, I think I have a pretty good advantage state. I feel like my flow chart is really good against mid-level players, even like bottom-level PR. I feel like it's so strong. Just to like, I don't usually lose to people that are below me or like really below me. The last time I remember being upset from a loss was like Al and Shen when they weren't PR. Like they weren't in they're like top 20. That was the only time I've really felt like I've been completely like destroyed from my bad flow chart. But usually it's like pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, my advantage is also, I think like compared to a lot of Robs, it's a good mix of technical and usable, if that makes sense. I feel like some stuff is a bit too out there to hit, but I feel like mine's a good mix.
Yeah, like well-rounded, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of feels like you've like hit a level of play where it's like you're kind of gatekeeping everyone to like before you even have a chance against me, you have to figure out what I'm doing first, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty sick, actually.
I think it's definitely advantage and the ability to dictate the pace of the match. Because I play Young Link, he can either be very campy and lame, as people say, but it's kind of cool. Or he can be hyper aggressive because he's got super quick button safe moves and stuff. And so what I think I do really well is I switch between the passive play and aggressive play. And that mucks around with a lot of people, and it shifts the momentum of the match a lot. And when I get momentum and I'm in advantage state, I'm really dominating the match, and it's really hard. Like, people can get hit by a boomerang and they take a lot of damage, or next thing is stock gone, or things just disappear quickly. Things aren't looking in my way. I will slow the match down to a pace that I want it to be, start camping, throwing projectiles out, etc. And then if I see there's a right opportunity to, go aggressive, take the match, be the dominant one, that's when I'll take it. And I think that's what kind of separates me from everyone else is the match is generally always in the flow I want it to be in.
Yeah, you're kind of just like adjusting continually to like what the situation presents, right? And being kind of malleable with what you're doing.
Well, I play from the heart. That's the main difference. I feel like everyone else, they have a game plan. They have, they have their flow charts in some of them. Not naming them. Everyone's got their own type of thing that they do. Some people like to use their knowledge of the game. Ben uses his knowledge. Some people flowchart, like Jono. But some people can do everything, but me, I just go with the flow. I see what's coming, and I go to the next one. It's like free roam parkour. Jump from one roof, you get to the next one. Where are you going? You go to the next roof. There's no next roof, you go down. Or you go up. It's a rocky road in my playstyle, and I just do on the spot thinking. I take situations as they come, and yeah, it's all from the heart.
All from the heart. Very Mango-esque, I guess, in that.
Yeah, literally Mango.
Okay, so for this thing, I put adaptability, playing opponent's game, and tempo. Basically, what I think that means is that I'm very comfortable with like letting the opponent do what they want and playing around it and sort of downloading them and learning their habits. And I'm very comfortable with like slowing the game down, then speeding it up, playing at the opponent's pace, then making them play at my pace when I feel like I have the advantage. And yeah, I sort of have a lot of like character knowledge, or I know what every character does. So I think it's kind of difficult to surprise me and throw me off in bracket.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's kind of just like more so playing around your opponent rather than like giving like a really strong game plan and then they have to react to it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, at least in Victoria, is they kind of just like throw their characters at each other, and it means that like it's sort of like whoever's best at doing their character's stuff just wins, and the other person loses. And I try and like not do that as much and like let them do what they want and then play around it and then go in when I think like I've got a good idea of what they're doing.
Yeah, so like playing the player rather than playing the character to an extent.
Yes.
I think I optimize my characters and like a lot of the aspects of the game. So for example, I'll always go for like the optimal combo route, even if it's a bit more difficult. And I have like very thorough ledge trap sequences that I've like labbed extensively. I also use like a lot of parries, ledge trumps, like footstools, which you don't really see a lot of the other top 5 players do. Like, for example, compared to Jono, who's like #1 in Australia, he sticks to like the simple youngling combos. He doesn't go for like the super fancy stuff. And yeah, he said it himself, he doesn't like parrying. So yeah, I guess that's a difference. I like go for the harder route.
Yeah, it's just that I guess like you aim for like the end goal or like the most efficient kind of optimization and advantage state for the long run.
Yeah.
I imagine, right?
Some people would argue that like doing like, I guess like playing with a simpler playstyle can help you focus more on other stuff, but like I guess it's a player thing.
Yeah.
It's like what you prefer.
And I guess if you're already aiming to be the best at the end of it, may as well try to maximize everything about your gameplay as possible, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Also looks a lot cooler.
It does
Same.
look a lot cooler. You can like, make a YouTube channel out of it or something, I'm not sure. But I guess since, you know, being cool or optimizing is something that separates you from the others, what do you kind of perceive as a general weakness when it comes to the other people in the top 5?
I think for all of us, ledge trapping and edge guarding is could be better. I've never really felt like destroyed at ledge besides when I was in like SoCal that one time, and that was terrible. I got like destroyed at ledge. But to be fair, I was pretty bad back then compared to now. But even now, I feel like I'm never scared on the ledge besides against like Nick sometimes. I feel like a lot of characters we have in top 5 can really just... Okay, so Nick's Wolf, Gamwatch, even Jono to some extent. Bin does it. Like, I think Bin's the best at ledge trapping at the moment. Especially because I think Link's F-tilt and Link's just bomb makes it really well. Like, really good. But I feel like, just this reacting to like what's happening at ledge could be a bit better. I'm probably the worst out of us 5. Because I just like grab gyro. I don't know. I just try to do so much stuff at like so little time. I can just stand there, hold shield, and wait. But I feel like that's the same with Jono. I feel like Jono does the same.
Yeah. So it's like more like setting up for situations rather than like that fear of someone reacting to you and you feel like you can't go anywhere, right? Yeah. That makes sense.
I think Nick's really good at, just like really, really good at standing still and putting fear into people.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's makes him like the best at ledge trapping.
They just stand there menacingly, man.
Yeah, it's bad.
I think they focus a little bit too much on getting their advantage state started. A lot of these like characters that are being played in the top 5, it's like you've got Wario who's just going to like nair until he gets his 70% combo. You got Pit who's going to like nair, overshoot nair to try and get his 60%. You've got Rob and Min Min who are going to nair and then literally kill you off of it.
Yeah.
And I think if people just like realized that and made it as hard as possible for the top players to actually like land that hit in the first place, then they might run into a bit more problems than they currently do.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. It's like an over-reliance on one specific tool, I guess. That's an advantage.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's like if it's got good risk reward, then you might as well do it. But when you get to like that higher level, you're not going to be able to rely on that.
I understand that.
Their weaknesses. we'll start from the top. Jdizzle. Jdizzle, it's a bit of a flowchart. Just a little bit of a flowchart. It's a pretty good one though.
I feel like Jono can kind of struggle making like major adaptations like in a single tournament. Like he'll go home and he'll like look stuff up and like figure it out, and he'll come back and it's just like completely changed. But I think that he's just so used to his normal game plan being so dominant that he doesn't have to change. So maybe he's like not used to that.
Once he like gets in the zone, he can just keep on pressuring you with the same options, and it will just work because he's really good at playing around it. But as soon as like you see a crack in it and you can get through it, he crumbles. He he's like a flake, and it's just like you open the wrapper and it's just all falling apart. But to get the wrapper off, it's another story. Yeah, but Jono is definitely just the flowchart, and when his playstyle, falls apart, then he falls apart as well.
Yeah.
Extra, Nick. Nick's, I think, the best player of all the top 5, including myself, at covering weaknesses. I think Nick doesn't have a very specific weakness at all, actually. I think he's probably the hardest player to play against on a good day.
I think Nick's the hardest one to pinpoint a weakness for. It's like he's really solid all around, and I don't know. It's like sometimes he'll just randomly not play as well as his peak.
And I say on a good day because Nick's weakness is his mental sometimes. Not his main weakness. Like, it's not like a very noticeable thing, but if he just doesn't believe in himself or have the confidence in himself that day, he just won't perform probably. He needs to be in the mood to play Smash if he wants to win at it.
I don't know. I think a lot of people have noticed that.
Yeah. Especially in recent weeks, right? So.
Yeah, it's like, I guess it's a mental thing for him. It's like sometimes he just feels like trying really hard, and other times he's just like,
He definitely suffers from a lack of being able to knuckle down and motivation in game. He knows what he can do, and he's really smart about it, and he's a fantastic player overall, like well-rounded, fantastic in all that regard, but sometimes they can just lose a bit of motivation in game. I know that applies to me in particular because Yunlin can be a bit of a draining character to fight, and he can really go off his game, and he can get a bit tilted and lose it mentally. And I think once you kind of get to that point against him, you've got him. Like, you feel confident that you can just take the match out. Who's next? Bin. Bin is an incredibly smart player as well. He is, fantastic overall, but he suffers when he doesn't have a read on someone in particular, or he doesn't understand how they play or the character plays. When he's got you downloaded, like, oh Jesus, you're in a lot of trouble. Even I'm like, oh my god, Bin, like his reads will just be off the chart. He'll just know where you're gonna be. He's just like incredible. But he can kind of suffer when he's playing a character or someone in particular that just doesn't suit him.
Bin is similar to, or RaZe, I should say. RaZe is similar to Extra, where RaZe is good at covering their tracks and making it hard to find a weakness, but the main weakness is just RaZe's by the books. He tries to play in like the most optimal way, and sometimes like it's hard to maintain that playstyle, and you do often make mistakes trying to be optimal all the time and getting the best setups potentially. So as similar, it's like in between Jdizzle and Extra, where you kind of gotta get through the crack, but it's harder to get through sometimes. But it's not like his flowchart is as insane as Jono to cover for it.
Do you think you have your own weakness, or?
I do, yeah. I'm not gonna put it out there, 'cause, obviously.
It's fair enough. Oh no. Am I
yeah.
frozen?
I'm not saying that the weaknesses I mentioned are like absolute, because I'm just like taking a guess.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm gone.
Seb and Nick, I feel, might have a bit of weaknesses on the mental side of things. Like, I know Seb would agree that when he gets tilted, the set's over. It's like he will just not play well after that.
Damn.
He does his own thing, in terms of he plays his characters really well, like Rob Min Min and that. But that he doesn't adapt to the person, or he doesn't really change his playstyle. He just does his thing, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it's good enough that it works against generally everyone in the state and out of state, because they just like can't pick up on it. But if you play against him a lot, like me or Bin's like a great example of it. Bin's got a big record on him, and that's kind of what I was saying about Bin. He needs to read on someone, and Seb doesn't like someone having to read on him. And so you can see why Bin has like a 50 million and 2 record or something. I don't know. It's a pretty big record.
It's sizable.
Yeah. Like he used to beat him like every pixel. And because he has a few exploitable flaws like rolls and just these disadvantage habits that you can just catch on to. And so, that's why people who play him a lot are able to kind of beat him more often.
I think his weakness is pretty easy to understand. It's his weakness is his mental game. Seb, he gets really down on himself when he's playing. He can like be shield poked game 1 first stock, take 10% for it, and then like game 5 he'll be thinking about it. It's pretty brutal, but I've seen it happen sometimes where he'll just like destroy me 2 games in a row. I'll hit like a single chomp on him, and he'll just fall apart based on just one move. And it's like, as soon as he works out his mentality and like brushing things off and getting back to step 1, it's terrifying. Like we see Seb sometimes do that. He just 3-0s people randomly, and it's like, it's because he never falls apart.
Nice.
And if you want, I can include myself.
Sure, go for it. What is your weakness, Bradley?
My disadvantage is so terrible sometimes. Dude, I fast full A-dodge with Warrior, and I just rely on that to not get hit, but then I get hit, and I get sad. Also, I can't do anything out of shield. I just like do an aerial out of shield, and just hope it's good. Those are the main things I can notice about myself. I'm actually really curious about what the other 4 players think of me, because I want to know what I'm lacking in,
You just have to wait and see, right? Would you say that that disadvantage in general is like what you're trying to fix about your gameplay at the moment?
Definitely is. It's like I noticed myself like a lot recently. Just like I've been playing a bit more online. I'm trying to get back into the gist of things. And there are times where I'm just at ledge and I just autopilot, just short hop fear out of the corner, and like I can get like F smashed like 3 times for it, and I'll just still do it. I'm like, I gotta get that stuff out of my brain, rework my whole disadvantage, and I need to hit wafts. I am a bit of a choker.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a choker. I don't even know if it's the nerfs. I think it's just me.
Yeah, after you watch Gluto this past weekend, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but like he also just like sits back on the back platform and waits a bit. I don't know, that's a bit boring. I want to play how I want to play.
There you go. I guess you will have to wait for the thing to release to see what other people say.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
As for Didi, again, I don't think he has like a super big weakness, but I think if he like, because he's playing Wario, if he just like camped for Waft more, he'd be like, I don't know, I guess he'd do better. It's like, because playing an aggressive playstyle with Wario and still dominating like most of the Australian scene is like crazy. It's like, what if he just like played like Gluttony and just camped, and then it's like, now we have to deal with 2 wafts per set or something.
Yeah. It's like that further optimization that he can take on in the sake of just wanting to play aggressively.
I think he has talked about it. He just said that like being campy is just not in his style, which is like very obvious.
Bradley or DD, he is hyper aggressive, and when he's on, and which you see at majors generally because he turns it up for that. And it is bang, bang, bang. Like he overwhelms the opponents, and I think when he's fresh, he wasn't getting upset because he can overwhelm mid-level, even high-level players so much that they just can't like deal with him, like Wario and Bowser. But now with lockdown, him not practicing as much has actually caught up to him in the last season, losing to Pig and Sandman, and a few other players. And that's kind of the downside of being so hyper aggressive, that he doesn't play patient ever with Wario. So if things aren't going right, he's not having a good day with his hyper aggressiveness. Well, it's it's just all going to go downhill so
Yeah.
quickly because you're just gonna, if you're being aggressive but you're not being accurate in your game plan, you're just gonna start getting hit by everything, missing your confirmed, just like running into stuff. And then like there's the other, like you start getting frustrated because if you're getting aggressive and you're getting hit, like what he can do against me, he can be aggressive in an off day, like getting hit by a million Young Link projectiles, RP out of shield, you get pissed off. Like
Yeah.
I understand how it goes, but if he's, you know, on an off day, it's just not forgiving, and he just can't perform to the standard he does when he's, you know, on an on day. Because when he's on an on day, you can see what he can do.
And you don't think you could point out any like specific weaknesses of specific players you have in mind?
I didn't really like think that far ahead.
I know. It's
Not really.
No.
Figure it out yourself.
Boss. Oh, all right. Oh, if you say so.